Gary Vaynerchuk is an entrep mogul, a multi-millionaire, a 4-time New York Times best-selling author, speaker, and internet personality, and is now a social media icon. He is the founder of Wine Library and Vayner Media. He inspires millions of people via his keynote speeches, YouTube channel, Facebook page, and of course, Instagram page. So here are Gary's top 10 best motivational speeches or quotes. Before we start with our video, do not forget to subscribe down below and click the bell button so you'll get notified whenever we post a new video. And of course, do not forget to comment down below I subscribe so you'll have a chance for a shout out in our next videos to come. Let's start with our top 10.
Very fascinated about where you are in your life because I genuinely believe the world is telling you the reverse of the right information. When you're this young, the number one thing you should do is the most high-risk behavior of your life. This is exactly when you should go live in Bali for a year. This is exactly when you try to become Beyonce. This is exactly when you do the highest risk. The biggest reason that kids, like people become unhappy is they try to address, they're playing life in reverse, right? Even the thought of like marketing for a job makes me like want to jump out the window. Now, self-awareness is the most important. You may know yourself and say, well, that's what I need for myself in the beginning is like, I like being a student, I like safe. So like getting a job is good. I just want to get into a new city, get a job, that'll be good for me, right? And this is exactly the time where some of you are looking in the mirror and be like, do I even love this shit anymore? Right? You'll never be in a place like this, like it will only get harder to have, the only things that you could be dealing with are either debt or expectations of your parents. If you can manage those two out, well then you should go out of your mind and do whatever dream you have. All of you should live together in one studio apartment, like have no expenses and execute against every single thing that makes you smile every minute. And what your parents and society do is tells you to do the lowest risk maneuver. The number one thing you should be thinking about is the highest risk behavior around the thing that you think is gonna make you the happiest. Which is gonna go spitting in the face of everybody from your parents, to the school you're in, to your friends and what they thought, and maybe even to yourself an hour ago. That's the best advice.
Because it's nice to have a safety, right? Like,
yeah, I just don't think your degree is as safe as you think.
I'm an athlete and I'm into sports science, and you always say like turn your passion into a business because you can monetize anything, right?
Yes.
So I was thinking, okay, I'll go to college, I'll go to university, get a sports science degree, and then open a gym or an institute.
Okay.
But then I realized like maybe I don't have to go to college. Maybe I can just start a business and find a sports scientist to partner up with me.
You could?
Yeah, but I also think I should go to college because it's a good experience. I just feel really lost. And
can I put you in a very good mood?
Yes.
Whichever one you choose, you'll never know how the other one would have played out. Everybody's so crippled by decisions, but you never know how the other thing worked out. Let me give you an example. Let's say you don't go to college and you start this business and you were 100% right and it's huge and you're doing so great. But because you did that, you had to fly to America for a big meeting and your plane crashed and you died. That would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Or you think you're gonna go to college because it's a good experience and you'll meet people. You can meet people in a business. You're not gonna know. As some of you guys know, I famously passed on Uber twice, which means currently I missed out on $600 million. You could think that's a mistake, or if I would have invested in Uber, maybe I'd be somewhere else right now and picking up a disease that would kill me a year later, maybe. I think people overthink decisions. You'll never know what the alternative would have been, so just pick one and do it. Everybody thinks they can have the perfect decision. There is no perfect decision. There's just life. It's not just the negative, it's the positive. You gotta get silent in your fucking dome, then your life gets good.
I have a problem with getting too sensitive and caring
about other people's opinions.
Yeah, my parents and my friends.
Yes, makes sense.
And
it's the number one issue for everybody.
Yeah.
How do you get out of it?
Yeah, basically.
You stop listening to them, you spend less time with them. You need to spend more time finding new friends and listening to my shit and things like it, and less time with those people. That doesn't mean you drop them. I didn't drop my negative friends, I just controlled the amount of time I spent with them. Lean into positivity, cut out negativity. That doesn't mean that you don't talk to your parents ever again. It might mean that you talk to your mom once every 2 weeks instead of every day.
Well, I live with them, so it's hard.
You can still put headphones in.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by people every day that are spitting negativity. People leave comments on your Instagram every day that negativity. You don't need to hear them, right? Listening and hearing.
It's like put the wall up.
100%. I'm a fucking facade. I'm a fucking cocoon. All this admiration, I can't feel it. Because then I'll become a caricature of myself. It's not just the negative, it's the positive. You gotta get silent in your fucking dome, then your life gets good. Dude, you can cut them out. Cutting them out doesn't mean it eliminates them from their life. Limit the negativity.
Limit the bullshit.
So I grew up 25 plus surgeries, in dialysis. Drug scandal put me in a wheelchair for life. A lawsuit took my money, started investing franchise. I talk about people who got time. Statistically, I might not have time. So it's like, how do you battle that?
You gotta ask yourself what you're running for then. Like,
I'm running to leave a legacy and something for my niece, and
so then,
plus I manage artists. I got them depending on me. I want them to get them somewhere.
So then you're winning. Like, what are you gonna make up an arbitrary goal?
Yeah,
you see where I'm going?
Yeah, I guess you're.
It's where up. If you're trying to do for your niece, if you're fucking managing these artists.
Leave her something, you know, like
money. You mean?
No, like a business you can grow up in and
money.
Learn, yeah, pretty
money. Leave her with knowledge. Leave her with admiration for how you did it against all that adversity. You don't need to leave her a bag.
Yeah.
People got that fucking. You leave her a bag without the right principles, she's gonna blow that bag in 6 months and have nothing.
What about both?
Great. Focus on the second part.
All right.
I'll give you one. What people don't realize is the digital world is forcing people to be more active, not the other way around.
Oh. A lot of people, you know, Steve Jobs didn't let his kids use the iPad.
Right.
Media consumption. What's your view generally on media consumption?
I think people really demonize the realities because they didn't grow up with it. Like, what world do you think our children are gonna live in? To your point earlier, which I think was the right point, everything in life is balance. I'll give you one. What people don't realize is the digital world is forcing people to be more active, not the other way around. People are living a PR'd version of their life, and they're doing more physical activities and different activities for the photo on the digital platform. I'm serious. People are really bad at looking at data. People are very good at having an opinion. People are very bad at looking at macro data. Want to get real happy? Stop judging people. The second you stop judging people is the second that their judgment doesn't work. I mean, you know when the audio guy is shaking his head, you said some good shit, because he hears shit all the time. Promise. When you stop judging others, it gets real good. I love chaos. Chaos doesn't scare me. I'm pumped in chaos, because I know 98% of people fold like a cheap chair.
Can you give your perspective on the best way to embrace chaos?
By putting things in perspective. The way I deal with chaos and the way that I would deal in chaos if I was a upper middle leader in this team right now is realizing what's the alternative. You're in control. The reason chaos is easy for me is I know I'm in control. Like, if Mike Tyson's running at me and I'm a boxer, that chaos, this is why Holyfield beat him. You're in control. Yeah, it's not fun or scary or whatever, but you can duck. You can decide to give up or not give up. I love chaos. Chaos doesn't scare me. I'm pumped in chaos, because I know 98% of people fold like a cheap chair. I love chaos, because what are we talking about here? What's the worst that's gonna happen? You'll get fired? Good, you'll get a job at Unilever. What's the worst that can happen? I love chaos. I'm most calm when there's the most chaos, because I go into a place in my mind of like, what's the worst that can happen? What, am I gonna die? Oh no? than business? Who gives a crap? Put it in perspective. Put it in perspective.
I have 22,000 followers on Instagram.
Whether you said 0 or 22 million, it would still be the same answer.
It's the same shit.
It's the same
Obviously, content.
Yes.
I'm launching a company that's based on all of this stuff, all the hype, all the fashion culture.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would recommend to kind of accentuate my brand?
More.
Just more content.
More content.
Just content. It's so simple.
It's so simple, but nobody wants to wait 9 years.
I know.
You don't want to wait 9 years.
Yeah. You
don't want to wait 9 years.
I'm in this for the absolute long run. Like, I don't
so
want to.
So there is no other secret.
There's no other.
There's make content and be good at distribution and keep watching new platforms and do it on every platform and rinse and repeat.
And at this point, we have 22,000 followers on Instagram.
Whether you said 0 or 22 million, it would still be the same answer.
It's the same shit.
It's the same shit.
Okay.
So you're doing better than somebody who has 7, not as good as somebody who's 49, and that doesn't even mean anything in the first place. It's just constant motion to what you're trying to achieve, which I assume is for it to be a sustainable thing for you to live your life by doing what you love.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to do that, then people use followers or dollars as metrics. To me, it's just about being able to be sustainable. When I was building Wine Library, what I needed was $40,000 a year to pay my $2,000 rent and buy nothing else, and that's what was sustainable. So I was able to take every other dollar to build bigger Wine Library.
It's not about getting some fancy shit.
I don't give a fuck about 22,000 followers or $22 million. You can make $22 million a year and spend $24 million and go out of business.
Yes, exactly. That's what
Sustainability. Sustainability. I look for intent. We just had an offsite Friday with all the Vaynerchuk leadership, Singapore, London, people that run speaking, Sasha, all the companies. And I made it very clear in that meeting of what I'm looking for, which is don't worry about your own P&L. It's why I've never loved bonuses, because it becomes narrow ROI, not macro. I look for intent. I look for a lack of insecurity. I think insecurity leads to the disproportionate worse behavior. And I look for somebody who compliments me or has a communication style that works for me, usually osmosis. One of the reasons Zach was so fundamentally interesting, and it's played out. I mean, it's scary how little Zach and I have talked in the first year, right, Zach? It's people that are capable. I hate to micromanage. I love to pick people I believe in and empower them, but I love being able to. It's why, Zach's amazing. He's really done a good job. I give him a lot of credit. Steve too, joining. They don't have an office do. Zach's I need an office to do calls, and I was like, yeah, we'll get you one. A year later, he's still sitting in the pit, and having that flexibility. That's humility. He didn't ask for a whole lot, and I'm like, I can't give it. But then I'm look, use my office every single time I'm not. You do those kind of things. And then number two, where I was going actually, which made me tell you that micro story, was because he is in the walk path from me in the entrance to my office. The fact that I can look at him and he can look at me, and in that 4 seconds, I just know, cool, everything's fine. You don't need anything. We're literally having a conversation without having one. I look for that a lot. That's because that leads to speed. Intent, forget about osmosis, look grunting at each other good. Forget about people that compliment me, whether they're detail oriented or things of that nature. It's genuine intent. I want people to come into my world for a little while. It's so different than the, hunting and killing ROI, and you want that. You want those winning players, but you have to create an infrastructure. They have to deeply trust me that I will value their intent versus the money that I would much rather watch either one of them to everybody, Maha, everybody, Reed, Andrea, these are all business development people, all the people running the business. I'd rather see them do a good behavior that leads to no money than to be able to point to, I closed that. If you close a deal for $1 million, but all the collateral damage hurts the full body, it doesn't work. Not when you're going for real shit. not giving a fuck what anybody thinks does not mean you do not hear other people.
I always say that the single best moment of my life, and by the way, this wasn't a single moment, it was a gradual realization, but the best moment of my life was the day that I realized I no longer give a damn what anybody thinks.
Go figure.
And that is the only way to live your life. And I
Preach.
especially communicate that message to women, because from the moment we're born as women, everything around us conspires to make us feel insecure about absolutely everything to do with ourselves.
Yeah, the infrastructure.
The way we look, the way we talk, the way we dress, nice girls do this, nice girls don't do that. Women spend the rest of our lives coming back from that, and some of us never do.
Yep.
And so I want to shortcut that process for every woman, but also, to your point, for everybody who is worried about what other people think, because honestly...
Which is everybody.
Yeah, which is everybody, but don't
And
be,
Sydney,
because that's the worst way to be.
I think I also observe this, again, because we don't know each other that well, I observe this from you as well, which I really appreciate. And at times when people have been at a dinner table, your name gets brought up, this is what happens to me too, and I go, be careful. I'm like, if you watch her interact, and I'm proud of this as well, one thing that's amazing that I think you do extremely well is not giving a fuck what anybody thinks does not mean you do not hear other people.
Oh, no.
But it's an important clarity. This is not audacity.
No, you're right. I mean, don't give a damn what other people think in a good way.
That's right.
I.e., live your life and work your work according to your values and what you believe in.
You do a really good job of bringing awareness to things, to put pressure or to bring conversation, and I have watched you bring awareness to something. Hey, this is not acceptable. Tweet, I don't like this, or what's our take on this, or whatever it may be. I've watched people that are on the receiving end of that 99% of the time not answer. Of the left 1%, 0.9% of defend with bullshit.
Yeah.
But occasionally I've seen in that 0.1% remaining somebody giving clarity, context, and you were extremely quick to also hear it. And this is not you rallying people rallying them up. It pisses me off. I've watched you, and I do the same thing. Like sometimes people say something to me. A friend of mine, Ted, the other day said, "Hey, I don't like your definition of an entrepreneur. By nature, you're not one." I watched the video, and I'm like, he's right. I worked for my dad, and this definition of never working for anybody is not a good definition. I need to clarify it. I'm a little worried about, I'm trying to protect over entrepreneurship. So in that, I can get excited sometimes, and you're throwing out headlines, and it was an incredible back and forth and I've seen that from you, and that, for me, is why I so desperately wanted you here today. It's why, for me, I adamantly support a lot of what you do. Talk about that. Like, not giving a fuck, but actually having the capacity to hear when somebody has a counterpoint that may penetrate your psyche as you're going through the conversation.
That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and feel motivated. How about you? What's your favorite quote from Gary Vee? Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!